Welcome to the Songwriters Across Texas podcast. This state has a lot to offer, and music is one of its greatest exports. On this podcast, we get to know songwriters through their stories and hear some of their music. Today, we're at Arlyn Studios, and my guest is Monsees. I'm Karl Anderson, and this is the Songwriters Across Texas podcast. Monsees was born in Houston, but moved to Austin at the age of 8. As a kid, she was fascinated with blues guitar in the same way that her neighbor, Gary Clark Jr., was. While the two enjoyed riding bikes and playing basketball, kid stuff, they both practiced guitar daily and frequented Austin's many music shops. She even won a black Fender Strat when she was 12 years old, which she still plays. As Clifford Antone did with talented young blues players, he invited even Gary up on stage at 15 years old to play with legends Hubert Sumlin, James Cotton, and Mojo Buford. In 2001, she began working at Antone's Records, and with owner-drummer Mike Buck, the two started a band, Even the Exiles, to much critical acclaim. The two later married and co-owned the record shop where their own vinyl sits on the shelves. In 2007, she joined Kathy Valentine's band, the Bluebonnets, also to super critical acclaim. Welcome to the show, Eve. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. What are you going to start us off with?
This one's called Too Many Sorries. It's one we recently, we just started working on, just recorded, so.
Sorry's more than I can stand. No goodbye needed, you won't see me again. Too many sorries, oh, more than I can stand. No goodbye needed, and you won't see me again. Down to the station waiting for a train. My bags all packed, my ticket in my hand. Down to the station, oh, waiting for a train. My bags all packed and my ticket in my hand. Yeah. Too many sorries, more than I can say. No goodbye needed, you won't see me again. Too many sorries, oh, more than I can say. Yeah. No goodbye needed, and you won't see me again. No goodbye needed, oh, you won't see me again.
Yeah. It's so fun watching you play, like up close and seeing those fingers move around, man. It's so great. I heard you say that's your first guitar.
Yeah, I've had this guitar for a while, and usually it's just the guitar that sits at home.
I was going to say, you don't take her out very much, do you?
No, but we spend a lot of time together at home. So, occasionally I'll have an opportunity to play acoustic, but it's very seldom, and it's fun, and it's a challenge for me because it's not something that I'm used to doing.
Right. You're asked to play electric mostly. So you born in Houston and got out of there pretty quickly. And got up here at 8, right?
Yeah. Started third grade. I was in Austin. Gary Clark was one of the first people I met when moved to Austin. There was a lot of kids in the neighborhood, luckily, and several of us were all in the same class in third grade.
Right.
And, it was a change because in Houston, I can't remember how far I don't know how far I was from the school, but my parents had to drive me to school. And here in Austin, it was just down the street so we could, ride our bikes to school together,
Right.
which was really fun. And just had a,
That is fun.
Nice neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah, getting to ride your bike to school as a little
Yeah.
kid, and your parents aren't worried that anything's gonna happen to you. 'Cause,
Right.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. How did you guys figure out that you were? How did you get into like guitar and blues so early?
So there's actually another friend of ours named Brett Wheeler, whose house was between mine and Gary's, and he had a guitar. He had an acoustic guitar, and he was taking guitar lessons from a guy named Brian Curley. And we would kind of go to Brett's house to play basketball. That was sort of the
Okay.
thing. But there was a guitar laying around, and I was kind of interested, and I started taking guitar lessons as well. And Gary never took lessons. He was so quick to learn. So
Really?
so I got a guitar shortly before him, and when he got one, I showed him the little bit that I knew, but he very quickly started learning stuff on his own as well, and we would kind of, back and forth start showing each
Right.
other things. But just the fact that we were in Austin, and
Right.
this is so Austin in the 90s, still very aware of a lot of the blues music
Yes.
that not so much of initially, not so much of people like Muddy Waters, but you hear Stevie Ray Vaughan, the Fabulous
Yes.
Thunderbirds. You hear those names because those were artists that kind of
That
came up.
gave this city a foundation of sorts,
Right.
like that, part of the whole live music capital of the world. I think Clifford Antone was really a big part of putting that club together in the 70s and bringing all the blues here.
Exactly, and what he did was he helped embrace the careers of younger artists
Yeah.
by pairing them with the older artists.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what we quickly learned was, okay, this stuff that's on the radio, the few, blues artists that have, reached that level of
Right.
popularity, where did they learn from? And that was kind of the first thing. It was kind of going backwards and going, oh, Albert King, and oh, he played at Antone's, and kind of
Right.
first starting to figure all of that out.
Well,
Yeah.
That was a revelation for me when it was, because Jimi Hendrix obviously is Jimi Hendrix, and he was unique and groundbreaking, but he was listening to Albert King,
Right.
and a lot of the stuff he was doing is taken from that. Not that he's taking it, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he didn't invent the idea
Right.
of approaching it like that.
Yeah.
So that's always, it's cool to figure out how the lineage works.
Exactly, and having someone else my age that was
Right.
really into it too. And at first, we were listening to all the stuff our pals were listening to on the radio, and then
Right.
we just kind of started falling into this, and it was like, man, no one's listening, no one knows about this stuff. You know,
Right.
it felt like we, discovered something which
Oh,
so many
yeah.
other people already had, but it was, as a kid, kind of everything's new,
Yeah, no,
and-
that's exciting times.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
Yeah, and then oh my gosh, have you heard Albert Collins? Oh man, have you heard of Johnny Guitar Watson? Like
Right.
we kept kind of digging and
Right.
finding more and more, and
Were you getting vinyl? Was it vinyl?
vinyl and CDs. Pre YouTube though, so
Right,
we
yeah.
had to dig a little more, but I know, you talk about Clifford and everybody, when he opened that club, and I mean they were out looking for records, and
Right.
trying to like really find the stuff that wasn't well known at the time at all, and
Right.
so yes, easier for us, but not as easy maybe as it is today to just pop it into the
Right, but I think,
computer.
but I actually feel bad for people today if they're getting everything right so easily. Like hunting
Yeah.
for stuff
Yeah.
is fun.
There's a joy in that, and also talking to other people who maybe have been doing it longer, and
Yeah.
kind of getting their perspective and advice, and sort of as we were first starting to go out and play, everyone around us was so supportive, and
Right.
they oh, have you heard of Magic Sam? Magic Sam? Oh no, go
Right.
go to the record store the next day and buy a Magic Sam record.
Right.
And that was fun. We kind of had like a little mission that we were on.
Yeah.
To go find these recordings, and just I mean that.
And
that
then
period of
are
time
you
was
and
great.
are you playing along to them?
Yes, trying to.
Okay, so this is probably a pretty important thing. Not
Absolutely.
only are you getting it, but you're like, okay, we're gonna.
Yeah, that was sort of in lieu of guitar lessons. What we would do
Right.
is study these records and try to play along. And
Right.
I mean, I just remember like this specific T-Bone Walker lick, trying to figure that out, and we just kept like backing it up and over and over and over again, and
Yeah.
trying to get it, and Yeah,
That's so cool.
I mean, it was a special time for me and for Gary, like just having, like I say, having a pal that we were both equally enthused.
Yeah.
And just trying to figure it out.
Absolutely, but in a nice neighborhood where everyone's playing, and it's that's your youth. You get one youth, and there it was. And, and how wonderful for you, who's so inclined to that he was so close, and that you both got to, do it together in a lot of ways. You get your first guitar 12. And then you won one.
Yes. So Strait Music Company had this raffle to win a black Fender Stratocaster, and that was, oh man, I really wanted a black Strat. Okay, this is the one.
Who had the black Strat? Why did you want it, Jimmy? I mean, Stevie.
It wasn't. I don't think it was a specific person that had one. I just thought those looked cool, and I mean, I thought Strats were really cool at that time, especially I mean, Texas, and that was the guitar. If you're in my mind. And so they had the box you could enter to win, and I entered so many times, and they were like, "Yeah, do it." The guy who was working at the time, "Oh yeah, enter however many you want." And later, come to find out, that was not the rule. So they pulled all of them out, and they left one. And my mom had also entered.
Really?
They actually pulled her name out. Yeah, they pulled them all out. They said, we were misinformed because I was thought, well, I really want to win this, and if it's just a matter of sitting here and writing my name a bunch of times, I can do that.
Of course. That was good thinking.
Yeah.
If you're gonna let me do that, okay.
And the crazy thing is, when they did pull that name out, the notification, like we got a phone call. It was a Friday the 13th, so good luck for me.
Nice.
And it was the day after my birthday, so it was just kind of a perfect, things like that don't normally happen to me. So it was pretty lucky. I ain't
superstitious, but I just want a guitar.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's super cool. So you're playing it and learning and really learning through the records, right? And
and other people. I mean, that was the thing, because we were blues music specifically at that time is what we were just so focused on, and there was a community of people older than us that had come up that same way, where they were just really into it,
right?
And had somebody showing them. So, people like Derek O'Brien, who's longtime house guitar player at Antone's. I would go up and ask him all kinds of annoying questions, like, "What kind of strings do you use? And what year is your guitar?" and all that stuff. And he'd be really patient, and then he would mention, different guitar players that he grew up listening to.
Right.
So it was a lot of that, or what chord was that you were doing? Oh, well, it was this chord.
And is this in Antone's?
Yeah.
How did you start being allowed to go in and make that relationship with Clifford?
So that Antone's was all ages at that time, and my dad took me to see Jimmy Vaughn there when I was, I think, 14, and that was a real eye-opening experience for me, because prior to that, I'd heard a lot of stuff that was on the radio, a lot of production, and here's Jimmy plugged, his guitar straight into the amplifier, and it was just like, whoa, it was just tone, and I was like, wow, that's really cool, and
he's got such a presence too.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of one of those moments where I was like, oh, I want to do that.
I'm guessing, yeah.
And earlier in the night, Derek O'Brien was playing with Luann Barton, and I was like watching him, because he was kind of in the shadows there, but he was sort of making it all happen, and I was like, well, I really like that too. Like, that's cool. I like that. So our parents would take us, basically, I guess, to answer your question. We were allowed in because it was all ages, as long as we had an adult.
Yeah.
And both Gary's parents and my parents would kind of trade off who would take us there or to these blues jams that we were going to sit in on.
Time well invested by your parents. Well done.
We're very lucky. We're very lucky that they would do that.
But the tradition, though, of Antone's specifically doing that, I mean, it goes back to Stevie and Jimmy when they were kids.
Oh yeah, and
Charlie and Will.
You have
Sexton. Those guys were like 10 and 11 when they,
Exactly, and then the Moeller brothers and the Keller brothers.
Yeah.
So we kind of started seeing how that there was like these groups of people that had kind of gone through Antone's, and there was just this real supportive community.
Yeah.
And outside of Antone's too. I mean, there was a place called Joe's Generic Bar that was a real dive, and places like that we felt so welcomed at all of those places. And but yeah, Clifford, I have a very fond memory of first meeting him, because went up to him and, hi, Clifford, I like blues records too, kind of like real goofy kid. And he was like, oh, what do you listen to? And the first thing, like what I'd been listening to at that moment was Magic Sam. And I was like, oh, I like Magic Sam. And he put his head in his hand, and I'm like, oh, did I say something wrong? But I think he was expecting me to say Eric Clapton or something like that, and was like, oh, and from that
You're
moment,
the real thing.
from that moment, it was like, okay, somebody who's actually interested in the
it was music
the
to his
history
ears.
and the lineage, and I've come to find out Magic Sam was one of his favorites, and it's just, it was a special place to be at that time for us, and it continues to be. It's that club has moved around.
It sure has.
Clifford has passed away, but there's still something about that tradition that continues, and it's really wonderful.
It's really important, and it was really crucial to when it began. It was such an impetus for everything else opening up.
Yeah.
When did you first go up on stage? And let's talk about how you got up there with Hubert.
Yeah, so I'd met Clifford that time, and I told him, I want to have a friend that plays. And so we ended up at Antone's. It was in the summer. I guess this would have been like 98, I think, 97, 98, somewhere in there. And yeah, I think 98. And so, yeah, I was 15, and Gary was, I think, still 14. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe we were both 15. Anyways, we end up... we end up on stage because Clifford was like, do you want to get up on stage? He'd never heard us before.
Wow.
And so it was like, wait, what? And it was packed, and Derek O'Brien was playing. Hubert Sumlin, who, that's, Howlin' Wolf's guitar player. That was the guy that's whose licks we were trying to figure out.
Right,
and he was right there. And so we got up on stage at the end of the night, and man, it was pretty cool. Yeah. It actually may not have been the summer. Anyway, it was sometime
How did it go? I mean, were you so nervous? I mean, what?
Well, we didn't have a lot of time to be nervous because it was just like, come on up. It wasn't like you're going to play in an hour and now you have to worry about it.
That was good.
Yeah, he kind of just pulled us up, and I played Derek's Strat, and Gary played Hubert's Gold Top Les Paul, and yeah, we played a couple songs, and Tommy Shannon was playing bass, and George Raines on drums, and yeah, it was like, wow, we got to play at Antone. That was the biggest thing we could imagine doing at that time, Yeah, 14, 15,
Of course.
Yeah.
Did it just sort of escalate the desire for more?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was, I think, just the energy, and we just wanted to be around that, and it was, there was a lot of people there that night for that show, so it was kind of the energy of, just kind of being around people who are excited to see music, and then also for us to be around our heroes, really. Was pretty special.
Right. So, but you're only 15. How long did it take until you actually got to the point where you were writing songs and then having enough songs to go out and do gigs?
Yeah, so, I mean, writing, tried to start doing that before, when I could really barely play. And as far as doing gigs, we would play a lot of blues covers, standards, more than anything. It was kind of that. So,
gotcha.
Which, for better or worse, we were focusing on, learning songs and learning how to play.
Absolutely.
With the idea of trying to write as well, but it was more focused on trying to understand the songs themselves and the structures,
the tradition of of the way those songs work. I think it's the one genre where it doesn't matter. Like, covers are fine if you're gonna go. Like, nobody's expecting you to come out with your own blues song, especially at
Yeah, it'd be kind of silly to be singing the blues at 15.
Right. You guys are having a nice life, or but playing the blues is not, it's not about having a broken heart necessarily.
It was kind of a lot of it's the emotion in the songs, and trying to understand that stuff and pay tribute to it and respect it, and not do it in a way it's just we weren't just trying to mimic it. We were trying to embrace that tradition, I guess, and that is such a basic part of popular music. You look at popular music, and it's rooted in that. So just trying to, respectfully learn it and be able to apply it to things down the road when we both
be able to play a killer version of like Politician or just great old standards that everyone. Who do you love? That song, and I've heard of so many killer versions of that one song. So yeah, it's neat. It's a neat thing with blues that it has that built into it.
Yeah.
Let's play another song.
All right, this one is called "Blow Your Mind," and something we recorded on a record with the same title a while back.
So you never found out I could blow your mind. You left me all alone. You didn't feel like trying. I thought I was my own. Then your latest flirtation. You used me all up, your own recreation. I'm not gonna waste my time and cry over you or cry no more. Your jealous past, your broken future. They pull you all around, you act like some evil creature. On the prowl at night for a girl with a smile. Yeah, you might treat her right, but only for a little while. I'm not gonna waste my time and cry over you. I'll cry no more. Not gonna cry over you, babe. I'll cry no more. I'll cry over you, babe. I'll cry, cry, cry.
Awesome.
So yeah, I guess we, Gary and I both. I mean, we're lucky to be around so many people and learn so much about blues music at an early age, and that sort of helped learn more about music in general, and started focusing on writing songs and doing different styles of music and all that. So it's just
right, and then now you're getting to the point where you're actually getting ready to record or make music, record, but you're getting old enough that you're like, okay, I can see this. How do you end up in Antone's records?
I was in there shopping a lot, and yeah,
I got you. How do you end up in there? That's where I was getting my records.
Yeah, we were just kind of in there hanging out, and then one day I heard them, discussing like, oh, maybe we need somebody, and I was like, I'll do it. And so I just kind of right place, right time. It was only 3 people working there at the time, and so I was working there one day a week, Sunday afternoons.
I got you.
That was it while I was still in high school, and it was such a great experience for me because it was basically a library that I could just every day when I was working, like, oh, what's this record, and learned so much,
right.
and sort of broaden. I was very focused just on blues music for a long time, and which again, it's like the best thing to kind of learn basic stuff that you can apply to your own sound as you get older, and then started listening to jazz and country and just garage rock, all kinds of stuff, and had a lot of things accessible there at the store.
Yeah, of course. That's such a great store to go, and because there is such a vast, from all eras and all different genres. You can find really cool records in there that
it's
you
fun.
Probably wouldn't find almost anywhere else.
It's a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah. So how did even the Exiles start?
Kind of through the shop. Mike Buck, who's great drummer, and
Yeah,
played-
he'd been in the Thunderbirds and
Yeah.
the Leroy. I want to say
Leroy Brothers, the Leroy Brothers, yes.
Brothers.
yeah. And so our paths had crossed a bunch, and then through the shop, we would we'd played some gigs together here and there with different people, and kind of like, let's do our thing, let's start a band, and had a lot of things that we both liked, and so it made sense.
Right.
So we started playing shows together, and still have that band. We've had a few different people in and out of it over the years, but
Right.
yeah, we've recorded and released 3 records, and have a 4th one that we're
good.
working on now. So
I was going to say I've got one of them that I played an awful lot.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and there's two others right now, and one other that's being recorded.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Trying to keep it going. Yeah.
Good. Then the Bluebonnets as well that you play in.
Yeah. So Kathy Valentine and Dominique Davalos.
Who's in the Go-Go's, by the way? Just in case people don't know that, I like to say.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah,
And she also what was her punk band, the Violators? Is that
Yeah, right. So Kathy's
Before
she's
Go-Go's.
from Austin,
Yeah.
and grew up here to she was around that 70s punk scene. There
Right.
was the blues stuff, and then there was all the punk stuff.
Yeah,
that,
Jesse Subway.
in the 80s
Skunks.
too. All that. Just that there was there's a lot of stuff going on. So not to say it was only blues.
Of course.
because there was a lot of different types of music, and Kathy was a part of that.
Well, that's what's
that
cool. So Kathy comes. It's not you got Bluebonnets aren't. It's not a blues record. I mean,
No.
I'd say Dominique's name again. I think
Dominique
I cut her
Davalos.
off. She's
yeah.
excellent, man.
Yeah,
I don't
she's
wanna-
great, and Kathy and Dominique together are so great, and such great songwriters. And I mean, I look at them and I aspire to be able to do what they do, because we're gonna work on a new record.
Right.
Let's sit down and write some songs, and
Right.
they go for it, and it takes me a while, and
For
I
sure.
don't have the confidence that they do, and I something that I want to work on more for sure, and keep at it. But yeah, they definitely come from more of a rock and roll background, although Kathy was also very influenced by a lot of the same people that I was,
Right.
because she was here for that too. So it's really cool kind of finding the reference points that we all have together,
Yeah.
and creating this sound together. It's very different, and it's super fun, and I love being a part of that band. It's tons of fun.
With the $1 Million Bill, is that the name of one of the songs? $1 Million Bill. I got my $1 million. My
there's
Johnny Depp. My $1 million. It's just I'm like, oh, this song is tough.
Yeah. There's a lot of tough songs.
It's got
I'll say that.
attitude, you guys. I mean, and like the musicianship on that record is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I say, it's a little different than I came into that kind of trying to figure out what my role was, and it's really fun, to find
Right.
my space in that band, and then contribute to what they've already kind of established, because they've worked together for a really long time, and
Right.
have like I say, these great songs. And yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's one of those, that band is just, it kind of comes out and slaps you in the face a little bit,
which is what you want.
it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rock and roll.
Exactly. Is there another record of that coming out with them?
So we've got 3 out as well, and
Yeah.
we're talking about when are we going to start working on that next one? So yeah, hopefully they'll.
And do you write? Are they writing together? Are you in on the writing as well?
Sometimes
Matt?
I am, and I mean we've really recently been talking about starting on the next one, what that's going to look like, and
Good.
when it'll happen. But we're I'm really excited to keep moving forward with that band. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is, and you're awesome. And I bet though, I was going to say, writing with others and for yourself is a different thing.
Totally different, yeah. Which is great, because those are 2 different skill sets, and it when you write something yourself, it's still very helpful to show it to somebody and get the feedback before you present it to the world. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody that that you trust. That you don't need that many. In fact, early drafts, I realized early as a writer that I was like, you got to be careful who you show your early
Sure.
drafts to, because they'll start correcting it for you.
Yeah. It has to be someone you trust and that you kind of have that rapport with, I guess. Yeah.
So you and Mike ended up getting together and getting married.
We did. Yeah, we got married, and we got married in New Orleans at the Ponderosa Stomp Festival. Planning a wedding was just, I didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that. So it was
No,
like, we're gonna get
that's-
married at this festival. There was a gospel group that was performing that we knew, and so they married us at the festival.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was pretty fun, and this is a festival that we were a backing band for a lot of artists for many years, and got to play with a lot of our heroes there. So it's a pretty special event for us, and to
Mike's
get married
been,
there.
yeah. I mean, he's been doing it for longer than you too. So
Yeah.
it's like I bet it's just so. I mean, for y'all to, you're in New Orleans, all of a sudden there's these players, and it's like, oh, we're not in Austin, but because now we have access to them.
Yeah. Another wonderful music city,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the culture in New Orleans is like nothing else.
Like
So
nothing else.
It's
Exactly.
just special place for sure.
Absolutely.
I do feel really fortunate to have grown up here, and the music community. Despite all the changes in the city, which it does break my heart seeing some of the businesses and buildings that are
Sure.
gone now. But I was just thinking about all the people I've had a chance to play with over the years who've been real influential. And for a long time, I got to play with Denny Freeman at Antone's, and he was someone who early on I thought he was the coolest, and got to play with him every week for 4 years. So I feel really special to have had a chance to do that.
Right.
And I've been playing on Friday nights along with Speedy Sparks and John X. Reed and Rodney Craig, all guys who I love. To get to play with people like that on a regular basis is really special.
Those guys are great.
Yeah. So that consistent community of musicians and people who love music, and it's really special, and it's I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't living in Austin. I don't know if I would have found this
Right.
somewhere else. So I feel really lucky and grateful to be able to keep doing it.
Awesome. Well, can you close us out with one more?
Sure. All right, this one's called Footnote.
Like a footnote in a month-old magazine, overlooked, forgotten, left at the bottom. No slinger out on the scene, mixed in the cauldron, couldn't get a word in. Never really tried to make it, just get on by and fake it. The confidence too low to shake it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Staring down at the ground, shoes and feet. More time for learning, shake hands, be certain. Logic over creativity, no room for error. I gotta get it together. Never too late to try to change it. Just get on by and take it. Loosen your grip, break it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hands in the air, feel the beat. I can't find footing, all the ground keeps moving. Anchors away, take a seat. More obligation with no foundation. Never too late to try and change it. Just get on by, take it. Tighten your grip, break it. Oh yeah,
Eve Monsees, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you've been watching this on the CW and you'd like to see a longer version, go to our YouTube channel, Songwriters Across Texas, and check it out. And then there's also
EveandTheExiles.com.
EvenTheExiles.com. Check it out. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.